Welcome to Yoga with Mish. This is yoga for a restful night. So, just to give you a heads up a little bit about me, I am a yoga teacher in training. I currently, I'm a yoga teacher in training, and I am currently teaching classes on YouTube and TikTok in order to work towards my teaching hours to receive my yoga teacher certification. So, thank you all for coming and joining me in this practice today. I would like to say that first off, everything that I say is a suggestion. So please feel free to listen to your body before you listen to me. Do whatever your body is asking for. Give your body what it needs in this moment. So if I'm asking you to do something that doesn't feel safe in your body, that is totally fine. This is your practice for you to do. Don't let me tell you to do something that you feel uncomfortable with. And I would not recommend this practice for anyone who is expecting, just because we'll probably be doing some twists and we'll also be laying on our stomachs. But there are plenty of prenatal yoga classes, if you are expecting and want to do a yoga practice. So we are going to start today's practice in a child's pose. So moving slowly, we're going to move to our child's pose. So to get to your child's pose, we're going to move onto all fours. Moving slowly, listening to your body. And from all fours, you're going to bring your big toes together, knees as wide as the mat or wider, making sure you have space for your body. You're going to extend your hands out in front of you, palms flat on the ground. We'll take an inhale here, and we'll exhale, sink back down into our child's pose. Forehead touches the mat. Arms are extended out in front of you. Finding our breath. Inhaling through our nose. And exhaling out of your nose or out of your mouth. Whatever feels good in your body. Inhaling and exhaling. And then while we're here in our child's pose, I'm going to invite you to participate in a 4-part breath. So what that looks like is inhaling for 4, holding for 4, and exhaling for 4. So I'll go ahead and count that out. So we'll inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that again. So we'll inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. And now we can just bring your breath to your regular breathing cycle. In and out of your nose, or in through your nose and out through your mouth. Whatever feels good in your body. And on your next inhale, I invite you to bring your awareness to your forehead, resting on your mat, the space between your eyebrows. And as you inhale and exhale, I invite you to notice any sensations that you may feel in your forehead. And noticing if you can invite more ease into that space. So maybe you soften your gaze, or maybe you close your eyes. Just noticing that space in your forehead. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling And on your next exhale, I invite you to slide your awareness down to your mouth. Noticing if you're holding your tongue at the roof of your mouth. Noticing if you're clenching your jaws. And seeing if on your exhale you can softening your tongue in your mouth. Letting your lips hang loose, not holding any tension in your face. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling. And on your next exhale, I invite you to bring your awareness down to your chest, your heart center. And with your awareness on your chest, your heart center, I invite you to take the palms of your hands and bring your palms of your hands together in a prayer pose. And in your next inhale, you're going to inhale your hands up, your palms to where your thumbs are resting on the crown of your head. So with your palms together, fingers spread wide, thumbs resting on your palms, hands in prayer pose. Connecting from your crown to your heart. I invite you to set an intention for our practice tonight. And this can be an intention for the time we spend together, or this can be an intention for your rest that you'll be taking after this practice. So at this time, I'm going to be quiet so you can set this intention for yourself in your practice tonight. Remembering to inhale and exhale. And if you feel like you're complete in setting your intention, I invite you to inhale. And on your exhale, we'll take our hands and drop them back down to the mat, hands flat on the mat. And on your next inhale, we're going to inhale and push ourselves up into a tabletop. And while we're in your tabletop, with your shoulders in line with your wrists and your hips in line with your knees, hands wide, flat on the ground, pushing away from your mat, we're going to invite some cat-cows into our practice. So for your cat-cow, we're going to inhale, bring your chest forward, poking your butt out away from you in your cow. And we're going to exhale, arching your back, letting your head hang heavy, tucking your pelvis, cat. Inhaling, bringing your chest forward. And exhaling, tucking your pelvis. Now I invite you to continue your cat-cow according to your own breath cycle, moving slow, listening to your body. And if your cat-cow is asking you for any other movements, you can go ahead and offer those to yourself as well. You know, some people find a little wind in their cat-cow. Whatever feels good in your body. And then when you feel like your cat-cow is complete, but only when you feel like it's complete, we'll put our feet back together, our big toes back together, knees as wide as the mat, and we'll push back down into our child's pose. Remembering to inhale and exhale while you're in your child's pose. And noticing what you can soften while in your child's pose. Child's pose is supposed to be a restful position. So if you want to make it even more restorative, you can take your fist and stack them on top of one another and let your forehead rest on your fist. Noticing the space between your ears and your shoulders, making sure you're not scrunched up, but allowing yourself to have space. Good job. Inhaling and exhaling. And then when you're ready, we'll push back up into our tabletop. And from our tabletop, we'll take that right foot and extend it back behind us, resting our right foot on the ball of our foot. And we'll just find a pulse back and forth, making sure that we're syncing each breath with the movement. So that might look like inhaling forward and exhaling back. Inhaling, coming forward, and exhaling back. Good job. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. And then when you're ready, we'll find stillness in that position. And we'll take that right foot and we'll heel toe it, walk it, however feels good in your body, out to the side of us with our toes facing forward. And we'll find a stretch here. Or you can even invite a cat-cow into this position. Inhaling your chest forward. And exhaling, tucking your pelvis, letting your head hang heavy. And then when you're ready, we'll take that right foot, slide it back behind us again, bring it back in to meet our right knee in a tabletop. And we'll just go right into doing that same thing on the other side. So inhaling and exhaling, letting our left foot come behind us, resting on the ball of our left foot. And we're going to just pulse back and forth gently. Inhaling forward, exhaling and coming back. Inhaling forward, and exhaling, coming back. And then when you're ready, we'll find stillness here. And we'll take that left foot and walk it towards the side of us, toes facing the front of our mat. And we'll find a stretch here. And if you would like, feel free to invite some cat-cows into this stretch. Inhaling forward. Exhale, arching your back, letting your head hang heavy. And then when you feel like you've had enough there, we'll find stillness. And we'll slowly walk that left foot back, bringing that left knee back in to meet our right knee. Big toes together to touch, knees as wide as the mat, pushing back down into our child's pose. Great job, everybody. Inhaling and exhaling. Noticing where we can find more ease in our child's pose. Making sure we're not holding any tension in our hands, in our wrist, in our toes, in our face. Inhaling and exhaling. And when you're ready, we'll push back up into our tabletop. And then from our tabletop, we're going to lay flat on our bellies. So inhaling and exhaling, coming to lay flat on your belly, slowly and safely. We'll bring our hands in, align with our elbows. I'm sorry, not align with our elbows. Our hands align with our chest. Forearms flat on the mat. And we'll inhale up to a Sphinx pose, letting our lower half of our body push away from the mat, push down firmly against the mat, finding a slight arch in our back with our gaze out ahead of us. Inhaling and exhaling while we're holding our Sphinx pose. When you're ready, we'll inhale and exhale. Bring your head back down to the mat. And from here, let's go ahead and stack our forearms on top of one another, letting our forehead rest on our forearms. And we'll go ahead, we'll inhale our feet up in the air, knees bent. And just find a gentle sway from side to side with your feet. Making sure we're matching our movements with our breath. So that might look like exhaling to one side, inhaling to center, exhaling to the opposite side, Inhaling to center, finding a gentle sway with your feet. And then when you're ready, we'll find stillness with your feet in the air. And we'll exhale, drop our feet back down to the ground. And then we'll get ready to do a half bear pose. So when you're ready, we'll inhale. We'll lift that right foot slightly off the ground. And we'll turn our right toes to face the long edge of our mat with the inside of our right foot resting on the ground. Okay? So your toes should be facing away from your mat. The inside of your right foot is now resting on the ground. And we're going to take an inhale. And on your exhale, we'll slide our knee up like we're trying to bring our knee to meet our elbow. Inhaling and exhaling. So while you're in this half bear pose, just noticing if there's any spaces you can breathe into. Notice if you're holding any tension anywhere. And if on your exhale you can breathe and imagine your breath going into that space. And on your exhale, you're softening and releasing that tension from that space. And we'll take an inhale. And on your exhale, slide your foot back down to meet your right foot. Inhaling and exhaling. And then we'll go ahead and we'll inhale our feet back into the air, knees bent. And let's find that gentle sway with our feet again from side to side. Exhaling to one side. Inhaling to center. Exhaling to the opposite side. Inhaling to center. Finding that gentle sway according to your own breath. And we'll find stillness and center. And we'll exhale, drop our feet back down to the mat. And we'll do that same thing on the opposite side. So inhaling, lifting your left foot off the ground. And turning your left toes to face the long edge of your mat and allowing the inside of your left foot to rest on the ground. We'll take an inhale, and on the exhale, we'll slide your knee up like you're bringing your knee to meet your elbow. Finding that half bear on the opposite side. Inhaling and exhaling. And we'll take an inhale. And on your exhale, we'll slide our left foot back down to meet our right foot. We'll take an inhale and an exhale. And let's inhale, bend our knees, bring our feet back in the air. We'll find that gentle sway one more time. Syncing our breath with our movements, inhaling and exhaling to one side, inhaling to center, and exhaling to the opposite side. Good job. All right, everybody. So we'll find stillness with our feet in the air. And we'll exhale, bring our feet back down to the mat. And then from here, we'll find our final resting pose. So if you want to stay on your stomach, you can. If not, we can roll over at this time onto our backs. Moving slow and listening to your body. So finding your way to your back. Feel free to go ahead and give your body any last movements it's asking for. So that might look like a sway from side to side in your knees. So that might look like a sway from side to side in your knees. Inhaling and exhaling. So offering yourself any final movements before we go into our final resting pose. Alright. If you feel like you've had enough, we'll go ahead and find your final resting pose. And in your final resting pose, take up space. You know, if you have space, take it up. Spread your arms out, spread your legs out. Sinking into the floor beneath you. And we'll take about 3 minutes in final resting pose. And I'll invite my voice back into the space when it's time to move on to close out our practice today. Slowly wiggling your fingers and toes, rolling out your wrist, swaying your ankles from side to side, noticing your body in the room, in the space. And we'll prepare to sit up. You can stay in resting pose, but for those of us who are ready to move on, we're going to find our way back to a seat. So inhaling, bring your right arm up overhead, bending your right foot, letting your right foot rest on the mat. And we're going to roll over to the right side of our body into a fetal pose, in fetal position. And with your left hand, you're going to push yourself back up into a seat, letting your head hang heavy, being the last thing to come up. Moving slow, listening to your body. And we'll find our seat. And from our seated pose, we'll inhale our arms up overhead. And we'll exhale our arms back down. Inhale our arms up overhead. And we'll exhale our arms back down to our side. And this time we'll inhale our arms up. Bring our hands to meet at the top. And exhale our hands to our chest, prayer pose. Inhaling and exhale, forward fold any amount. Inhaling back up. And exhale, letting our hands drop down in front of us. That's it, y'all. So thank you so much for practicing with me today on YouTube and on TikTok. Y'all are amazing. So please, if you're here, like the video. If you practice on YouTube, like the video before you leave. Feel free to leave a comment. And yeah, I'll probably be back next week for, for another Yoga with Me practice. So thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you, Ro. Thank you so much. All right, let me get off of YouTube. Thank you for the support. I appreciate you for coming through. That really means a lot. All right, let me get off here now.